The story begins in a beautiful house deep in the forest, where a geologist named Ish lives a quiet and peaceful life. One morning, he leaves home to visit a nearby quarry and collect pyrite rocks for his research. While working at the quarry, a snake suddenly bites his hand and slithers away. Ish grabs his phone, but it accidentally falls down a steep hill.
Ah, shit!
With no way to call for help, he uses a knife to reach the wound and tries to suck out the venom himself. Then he rushes back home. After reaching his house, he drinks some water and falls onto his bed. Soon, the snake venom starts affecting him badly. He becomes weak and confused. Hours later, his hand is badly swollen. He hears someone knocking at the door and a helicopter flying outside, but he is too weak to move. As night falls, Ish struggles out of bed to get water. He spills it on the floor and ends up drinking it from there. While lying on the floor, he keeps calling for his mother. Then a text message arrives on his phone. It is from his mom, and it says, "We love you." Several days later, Ish wakes up feeling much better. His swollen hand has healed, and he is strong enough to move around again.
Jesus Christ, Ish.
After cleaning his car, he starts driving toward town. The streets are completely empty. Soon, he notices a dead body lying on the road. As he keeps driving, he sees more bodies and abandoned military vehicles. Then he reads a warning sign that says a deadly global pandemic has spread across the world and the US government has collapsed. Ish turns on the radio. The news reports that the virus is extremely contagious and deadly. People are being told to stay indoors, but it is already too late. Hoping his family is safe, Ish rushes to his parents' house. When he arrives, he discovers that both of his parents have died. He buries them in the backyard and kisses their foreheads one last time. Later, Ish continues exploring the town. He finds dozens of dead bodies inside a church. Realizing he may be one of the few people left alive, he gathers useful supplies, including food, equipment, and a gun. He then drives toward a bridge, but it is completely blocked. He takes another road that eventually leads him to Las Vegas. Even there, the city is empty. There are no crowds, no traffic, and no signs of normal life. After searching several buildings without finding anyone, Ish sits in a jacuzzi. Later, he goes to a bar for a drink. Suddenly, he hears a voice and drops his glass. To his surprise, he meets two other survivors named Milton and Ann. They explain that they are immune to the virus and happen to be stuck in Las Vegas when everything fell apart.
I videoed the news.
Milton shows Ish a recorded government announcement on his phone. Ish learns that the virus was completely new, and nobody knew where it came from. Scientists tried to create vaccines, but nothing worked. Eventually, governments lost control, and society collapsed. Hearing this, Ish remembers that his parents had mentioned a strange new illness before. Milton and Ann tell him that every country in the world has fallen, which means only a small number of survivors may still be alive. Ann shares her story. She says she watched her husband and daughters die during a video call and was unable to help them. As the night goes on, the three survivors continue talking and drinking together. Ish realizes he has nowhere left to go and no family waiting for him anymore. Feeling exhausted, he lies down near an elevator and falls asleep. The next morning, he wakes up and finds Ann trying on expensive clothes from a nearby store. As they continue talking, Ish starts wondering if there is any point in staying alive anymore. Ann tells him that just because her heart is still beating
doesn't mean I'm alive.
The next morning, the three of them sit down for breakfast together. During the conversation, Ish learns that Milton's wife died in the hotel during the outbreak. Soon, Ish announces that he plans to leave and continue on his own. Ann quietly walks away from the table. Milton tries to convince Ish to stay
I wish you'd reconsider.
and explains that they still have plenty of food and a working generator. While showing Ish his gun, Milton reveals that he and Ann have made a pact with each other. They have agreed that when their food finally runs out, they will end their lives rather than keep struggling. Ish argues that there are enough supplies left in the country to last for many years, but Milton asks what the point of living is when everyone and everything you cared about is already gone. Before leaving, Ish asks Ann if she wants to come with him. She refuses, but before he goes, she suddenly kisses him. Ish quickly pulls away and leaves the hotel. As he drives down the road, he suddenly hears two gunshots from behind him. Realizing what has happened, he speeds away. Lost in his emotions, he almost hits a dog crossing the road but stops just in time. Instead of leaving the dog behind, Ish decides to take him along. He names him Lucky.
Let's go, boy.
Later, Ish visits a library and collects survival books. Since he has nowhere else to go, he returns to his old house and decides to build a new life there with Lucky. A whole year passes. Ish spends his days doing chores, exercising, and taking care of the house. Sometimes he drives his car around aimlessly. One morning, Lucky suddenly starts barking. Ish looks outside and notices smoke rising in the distance. He immediately grabs Lucky and drives toward it. The smoke leads them to a house. As Ish approaches, a woman named Emma appears on the roof holding a gun. After hearing Ish explain who he is,
I haven't seen anyone in the longest time.
she lowers the weapon and invites him inside. The two sit together, sharing tea and bread while talking about their experiences. Emma explains that she arrived only a few days earlier. They quickly become comfortable with each other. When Ish gets ready to leave, Emma suggests that he stay the night.
Thank you.
The next morning, he asks her to come live with him. Emma agrees. Back at the house, Emma begins settling in. While she explores the place, Ish quietly removes a noose he had made during one of his darkest moments. Soon, Emma notices that rats have gotten into their food storage. To restock their supplies, they return to town. While searching through stores, they ignore the smell coming from dead bodies that still remain there. As the days go by, Ish and Emma build a new routine together. They plant vegetables, catch fish for food, and work around the house. With almost no humans left, wild animals now roam through the streets. Emma gives Ish a haircut. Meanwhile, Ish starts building a chicken coop because he hopes they can eventually create a small farm. Over time, their friendship grows into a relationship. As months pass, Ish's car finally runs out of fuel, so he starts collecting gasoline from abandoned vehicles. He also begins installing solar panels on the roof. One day, while working on the roof, Ish loses his footing and falls. He injures his ankle badly and can barely walk. Emma helps him inside and takes care of him while he recovers. During this time, she admits that she misses being around more people. One night, while Ish is asleep, Emma looks through old family photos and cries as she remembers the people she lost. Eventually, Ish recovers and goes back to working on his projects around the house. Then one day, Emma tells him that she is pregnant. Instead of feeling excited, Ish becomes worried about the future. Wanting to be prepared, he visits the library and starts collecting books about pregnancy and childbirth. Even there, he notices rats running around the building. A few months later, life is going much better for the couple. Their small farm is growing nicely, with fresh vegetables and several chickens providing food. Still, Emma points out that she needs more protein during her pregnancy, so Ish decides to go hunting. While exploring the countryside, he comes across a group of cows. After a long moment of hesitation, he finally shoots one and follows instructions from one of his survival books to prepare the meat before bringing it home. Not long after that, Ish finishes installing the solar panels on the house. For the first time in years, they have reliable electricity again. They can use lights and keep food fresh in a refrigerator. One day, Emma discovers a giant rat in the basement. Their traps are too small to deal with it, so she is forced to drown it. Soon after, they look outside and discover that hundreds of rats have taken over the town and are moving toward their house. Ish realizes that piles of garbage are attracting them. He rushes outside and starts burning the trash while Emma stands guard with a gun. He also has to burn the remaining cow meat because it is attracting them as well. No matter what they do, the rats keep coming. Realizing they cannot stop them, Ish and Emma run back inside and begin sealing every door, window, and opening they can find. Emma even pours large amounts of bleach into the toilet and drains. Then they hear Lucky outside. The dog is surrounded by rats and being attacked. Ish throws open the door, rushes outside, grabs Lucky, and runs back inside. Several rats still manage to get into the house. Ish tries shooting them, but they move too fast. In the end, he starts smashing them with his gun until the house is safe again. Afterward, Emma treats Lucky's injuries. The experience leaves Ish worried that he could lose Emma during childbirth. That is when Emma shares more about her past. She tells him that she had already given birth to 2 daughters before the pandemic and never had any serious complications. She also reveals that she lost her husband and both daughters on the same day when the virus spread across the world. Months later, the rat problem finally starts disappearing. Large groups of wild cats now roam the streets and hunt the rats. For the first time in a long while, Ish and Emma can safely open the house again. Then, on that very day, Emma goes into labor. As the contractions become stronger, the baby's shoulder starts coming out first instead of the head. Ish rushes to find one of his medical books, but Emma tells him exactly what to do. Following her instructions, he helps reposition the baby until everything is back to normal. Soon, they are holding a healthy baby girl in their arms. Wanting to find other survivors, Emma paints their address on a wall in town so anyone still alive can find them. Unknown to them, a mysterious person sees the message from a distance. 6 years pass after the pandemic. One day, Ish is driving alone when he accidentally hits a mountain lion with his truck. He grabs his gun and prepares to put it out of its misery. Before he can do anything, he notices someone watching him from the woods. Ish immediately runs after the stranger. When he catches up, he discovers it is a young girl. Frightened, she tries to defend herself. Ish backs away and promises that he does not want to hurt her. He explains that he has food food, shelter, and lives with other survivors. The girl does not trust him. She screams and runs away into the forest. When Ish returns to his truck, he is surprised to see that the lion is gone. Even more surprising, the mysterious girl has secretly followed him back. Ish offers her an apple, and after a moment of hesitation, she accepts it. Slowly, she climbs into the back of the truck. Ish brings the girl home, where we learn that a lot has changed over the years. He and Emma now have 2 children, a daughter named Heather and a son named Alex. Their small family has grown, and little by little, a new community is beginning to form. Over the years, Ish and Emma's community continues to grow. 2 more survivors, Jorge and Maureen, have joined them, and Emma is pregnant once again. The mysterious girl that Ish found is still staying with them, but she refuses to talk and barely interacts with anyone. She spends most of her time sitting inside the truck. Seeing how withdrawn she is, Ish believes she may be suffering from severe trauma because of everything she has been through. That night, the girl chooses to sleep in the truck instead of inside the house. The next morning, Maureen tries to be kind by bringing her breakfast. However, the girl gets startled and accidentally knocks the plate to the ground. As she grabs Maureen's wrist, Maureen notices scars on her arm that look very familiar. She gently shows the girl similar scars on her own body. Then she even lets the girl touch her hair, slowly earning her trust. Little by little, the girl begins feeling more comfortable around Maureen. Later, Maureen explains how she and Jorge found the community after seeing Emma's message painted in town. She then convinces the girl to finally take a bath and clean herself up. Meanwhile, Ish and Jorge decide to search the nearby woods. There, they discover 2 small cabins. Behind them, they find several graves, suggesting that other survivors once lived there but did not make it. Back at the house, Maureen carefully looks through the girl's belongings. Inside a diary, she finds many drawings along with a letter. The letter reveals that the girl's name is Evie. When Maureen starts calling her Evie, the girl responds positively. For the first time, she seems willing to trust someone. She accepts clean clothes and even agrees to sleep inside the house instead of the truck. That evening, Maureen shares the letter with the rest of the group. The letter was written by Evie's mother before she died. In it, she asks whoever finds her daughter to take care of her. She explains that after the pandemic began, Evie's father became angry and abusive. At the same time, her mother became seriously ill and was too weak to protect her daughter. After hearing the story, everyone agrees that Evie is now part of their family. Not long afterward, Emma gives birth to another healthy child, a baby boy named Joey. A year passes peacefully. One day, the group is enjoying a normal afternoon when their intruder alarm suddenly goes off. Realizing strangers may be nearby, Ish, Emma, and Jorge quickly grab their guns and head out to investigate, while Maureen stays behind with the children. Soon, they come across an armed woman named Molly. At first, both sides are cautious and keep their weapons ready. After a conversation, everyone agrees to lower their guns. Molly then introduces her companions, Jean, Ezra, and Rafe. The newcomers are invited back to the house. As everyone gets to know each other, Maureen discovers that Jean was a famous musician before the world collapsed. The new group explains that they traveled from Oregon and recently left because a flu outbreak had spread through their area. Emma offers them a nearby house where they can stay. Although everyone else seems welcoming, Ish remains suspicious and keeps a close eye on the newcomers. The following day, the 2 groups head into town to gather supplies. Before leaving, Ish carefully explains the rules. He insists that everyone stay together and avoid unnecessary risks. The children remain at home while the adults search for food and useful items. During the trip, Molly asks whether they should look for medicine. Ish tells her that most medical supplies disappeared long ago and that food is more important. When they reach town, they notice a buffalo wandering through the empty streets. Since wild animals are now common, Ish tells everyone to ignore it and keep moving. The group splits up to search different buildings. However, Molly decides not to follow Ish's instructions. Instead, she secretly heads to the hospital. Inside, she finds countless dead bodies that have been left there since the pandemic. Despite that, she keeps searching. Elsewhere, Jean collects several bottles of alcohol while Ezra finds a guitar for her. When everyone gathers to leave, they realize Molly is missing. Back at the hospital, Molly encounters a wild dog. She scares it away using a fire extinguisher and then uses the same extinguisher to break open a locked storage area. Inside, she discovers a hidden supply of medicine. Eventually, she returns to the group. Ish is furious that she ignored his rules and put herself in danger, but his anger quickly disappears when Molly reveals the large amount of medicine she managed to find. That night, everyone relaxes around a bonfire. Jean plays her guitar and sings songs, while Ezra entertains the group with jokes. Later, after everyone goes to sleep, Jorge and Maureen share a quiet moment together. At the same time, Jean sits alone in the kitchen drinking heavily. The next morning, Molly checks on her friend and asks if she is okay. Jean admits that she drank so much because she is pregnant and does not want to have the baby. She's been trying to end the pregnancy on her own. Molly promises not to tell Ezra about her situation. As time passes, life slowly moves forward for everyone. Jean gives birth to a healthy baby, and not long afterward, Maureen also welcomes a child of her own. 14 years after the pandemic began, the community has grown into one big family. The adults and children all live together, helping each other survive and build a new life. During this time, they celebrate Heather's birthday. Ish spends a lot of time with Joey, especially at the library. He wants his son to love books and learning just as much as he does. One afternoon, while they are at the library, they notice strong winds and dark clouds gathering outside. Rain soon begins to fall, so they quickly head home. After making sure everyone is safely inside, they realize that Lucky is nowhere to be found. Worried, Ish goes out searching for his faithful companion. Sadly, he finds Lucky trapped beneath a fallen tree. The dog has died during the storm. When Emma arrives, the two of them sit beside Lucky. The next day, they bury Lucky in the garden. Not long after that, another tragedy nearly strikes. One day, while Ish is watching the children play, he notices a mountain lion hiding nearby. Realizing the danger, he immediately tells the kids to run. Ish steps between the animal and the children. The lion attacks him instead and begins tearing into him. For years, Evie has barely spoken a word, but seeing Ish in danger finally breaks her silence. She starts screaming for help. Her cries bring the others running. Together, they manage to drive the lion away and rush Ish to the hospital. Molly takes charge of the situation. She has medical training, so she tells everyone what to do while treating Ish's injuries. At one point, she even has to perform CPR before she can start closing his wounds. Meanwhile, Emma heads into the woods searching for the lion. When she finally finds it, she shoots it several times. After a long recovery, Ish finally wakes up. At that point, Molly admits something she has been hiding. She is not actually a fully trained doctor. She was only a medical student before the pandemic and never finished her studies. Even so, Ish trusts her skills because she saved his life. Thanks to her care, he eventually recovers and is able to walk again before returning home to his family. 3 more years pass. By the 17th year after the pandemic, Joey has become an excellent fisherman. Ish is extremely proud of him, but all the attention Joey receives makes Alex feel jealous. At the same time, Heather and Rafe have grown into young adults. They often go into town together to search for supplies. While exploring old houses and buildings, they come across many objects from the old world and wonder how people used to live. As they spend more time together, they grow close and eventually start dating. Soon, both teenagers become curious about what lies beyond their small community. They want to see more of the world and discover whether other groups of survivors still exist. After a lot of discussion, their parents finally agree to let them go. Before leaving, Heather and Rafe load a vehicle with food, supplies, and guns for protection. Then they set off on their journey. Back at home, a new problem begins to appear. One day, Ezra notices that the plants are much drier than usual. Soon afterward, Evie tries to get water from the kitchen sink, but nothing comes out. Frustrated, she accidentally breaks the faucet handle. The group quickly investigates and discovers that the nearby reservoir has completely dried up because of a severe drought. On top of that, the old water pipes have rusted and broken after years without maintenance. If rain does not come soon, they only have about a week of water left. While discussing the crisis, they suddenly spot 2 vehicles driving nearby. Not knowing whether the newcomers are friendly or dangerous, everyone rushes back to the house and prepares themselves. A short time later, 2 men named Charlie and Perry arrive at the gate. To show they come in peace, they bring a container filled with fresh water as a gift. Charlie explains that his group discovered drilling equipment outside Nevada and learned how to dig wells for underground water. After listening to them, Emma opens the gate and welcomes them inside. The 2 groups share a meal together and talk about their experiences. Ish quickly realizes that a well could solve their water problem. He agrees to trade all of his extra fuel in exchange for Charlie helping them build one. After lunch, Charlie gets to work. He explains that the entire process will take about 72 hours to complete. Later that day, Ish and Charlie go hunting together. Everything seems normal until Charlie suddenly fires his gun right behind Ish without warning. Ish spins around in shock, only to realize Charlie was simply taking down an animal for food. While hunting together, Charlie tells Ish that he is such a good shooter because he has spent years practicing. Then he makes a strange comment, saying he has aimed at more than just deer in his life. The remark immediately makes Ish uneasy. Later that evening, everyone gathers for dinner. Charlie proudly shows off his scars and tells stories about his past. During the meal, Ish notices that Charlie keeps staring at Evie. Evie clearly looks uncomfortable, and the way Charlie watches her only makes Ish more suspicious. The next morning, Ish warns Alex not to help Charlie with the drilling project. He admits that he does not trust the man at all. However, Alex believes his father is judging Charlie unfairly and decides to ignore the warning. Ish also tries talking to Emma about his concerns, but she thinks he is simply overreacting. Since Charlie has been helping everyone and has not caused any obvious trouble, she believes Ish is being too paranoid. Meanwhile, the drilling work continues. At one point, Charlie runs into a thick layer of rock that slows everything down. After a lot of work, the drill finally breaks through, allowing them to continue searching for water. As the days pass, Ish watches the rest of the community grow closer to Charlie and his group. They eat together, together, laugh together, and spend evenings singing songs around the campfire. Everyone seems happy except Ish. Feeling frustrated, he heads into the woods alone to clear his mind. Unfortunately, he wanders too far and becomes lost. That same evening, Charlie shares cigarettes with Jean. When he offers her alcohol, she politely refuses. Instead of backing off, Charlie becomes pushy and makes her uncomfortable. Luckily, Jorge walks outside at that moment, causing Charlie to stop. Back at home, Emma becomes worried when Ish does not return. She is preparing to organize a search when he finally appears. Angry and relieved at the same time, she scolds him for disappearing without telling anyone. Ish admits that something is bothering him. He is not worried about finding water anymore. Instead, he is worried about what might happen after they find it. The following day, the drilling finally succeeds. Water suddenly bursts out of the ground and everyone celebrates. After weeks of worry, their biggest problem has been solved. While everyone else celebrates, Ish privately tells Charlie to take his fuel and leave. To his surprise, Charlie refuses. He says he likes the community much more than he expected and would rather stay. Soon, the well is fully installed and another celebration is held. Music, food, and laughter fill the evening. But even during the party, Ish cannot shake the feeling that something is wrong. Later, Emma asks Perry where their group plans to go next. Perry quietly admits that she does not know. Charlie has become very attached to the community and seems determined to stay. That night, Ish is suddenly awakened by the sound of a woman screaming. He rushes outside and begins searching for the source of the noise. Then he sees Charlie leaving Evie's cottage while his friend Silas stands nearby. Charlie brushes off Ish's questions and casually returns to his RV. When Ish enters the cottage, he finds Evie crying. It quickly becomes clear that Charlie has hurt her and taken advantage of her trust. The next day, the entire family gathers to discuss what should be done. Everyone understands that simply telling Charlie to leave may not solve the problem. They fear he could return later and become even more dangerous. The discussion becomes heated. Some people believe stopping Charlie would be an act of self-defense, while others worry it would be murder. Eventually, they decide to vote. One by one, almost everyone agrees that Charlie cannot be allowed to stay. Jorge is the only person who initially votes against it, but after talking with Maureen, he reluctantly changes his mind. Once the decision is made, Ish goes to speak with Charlie. He calmly tells him that it is time to leave. Charlie refuses. At that moment, the rest of the family steps forward and surrounds him. Without warning, Ish strikes Charlie in the head with a hammer. Charlie falls to the ground, but Ish keeps hitting him until he is dead. The others watch in shock. Ezra eventually grabs Ish and pulls him away. Ish is completely overwhelmed. Later, he stands alone, trying to wash the blood from the hammer. He points out the irony that the blood belongs to the same man who helped bring them water. Emma finds him there and reminds him that he acted to protect the people he loves. The following morning, Charlie's body is taken away and buried far from the community. Afterward, the family speaks with Perry. They tell her that Charlie is gone, but they make it clear that she and the others are welcome to stay. Perry immediately understands what really happened. It becomes clear that she was also one of Charlie's victims and had been living in fear of him for a long time. Later, the group explains Charlie's disappearance to the rest of his people. Most of them quietly accept it. Only Silas becomes furious. He insists that Charlie would never leave without telling anyone and accuses everyone of lying. As tensions rise, Ish's family prepares their weapons in case Silas becomes violent. Then Corey finally speaks up. She says that the community is better off without Charlie. To everyone's surprise, the rest of Charlie's former group agrees with her. Realizing that nobody is on his side, Silas calls them all cowards and storms away from the community. When Alex comes outside and asks what happened to Charlie, Ish tells him that Charlie is gone because he hurt Evie. Alex struggles to accept the news and is clearly upset by everything that has happened. Just then, Silas returns to the community. This time, he asks if he can stay because he has nowhere else to go. He even admits that Ish was the first person brave enough to stand up to Charlie's control. However, Ish refuses to let him stay. He points out that Silas knew what Charlie was doing and chose to help him instead of warning the family. Because of that, Ish believes Silas is responsible too. 20 years after the pandemic began, the world has changed dramatically. With so few people left, nature has taken over again. Forests are growing everywhere, animals roam freely, and the earth seems to be slowly healing. Meanwhile, Joey and Corey have been working on a project. Together, they have built a modified version of one of Leonardo da Vinci's flying machine designs. It still needs some improvements, but they hope it will eventually fly. Most of the community is excited about it. The only person who does not seem happy is Alex. He is still jealous of all the attention attention Joey receives and often feels overlooked. One evening, Joey tells his family that he is not feeling well. Thinking it is something minor, Ish prepares a homemade herbal drink for him. But later that night, Joey suddenly walks into his parents' room covered in sweat before collapsing on the floor. Ish rushes to find Molly. Soon they discover that Joey is not the only one who is sick. Corey and several other people are showing the same symptoms. After examining them, Molly becomes concerned. The illness is spreading too quickly to be a normal cold. She fears it could somehow be connected to the virus that destroyed the world years ago. Ish immediately begins arguing with her about what they should do. Before they can reach a conclusion, Perry arrives and reveals that she is sick as well. Before long, the entire community is helping Molly care for the growing number of patients. Even so, Ish refuses to believe how serious the situation might be. He spends nearly all of his time sitting beside Joey's bed, hoping his son will recover. One night, exhausted and overwhelmed, Ish begins imagining Charlie watching him from the shadows. The guilt from killing Charlie continues to haunt him. As the days pass, Joey shows no signs of improvement. Ish becomes completely focused on saving him. His constant attention toward Joey starts creating tension with Alex. Deep down, Alex feels that his father would not be this worried if he were the one lying in bed. Around this time, Heather finally returns home, but she returns alone. Everyone quickly realizes that Rafe is not with her. Heather can see how exhausted her family is, so she takes over caring for Joey for a while. Then she shares the story of what happened during their journey. She and Rafe traveled north, hoping to find other survivors. Along the way, they saw beautiful landscapes and even reached the ocean. Although nature looked amazing, every town they visited was abandoned and falling apart. At one point, they began noticing numbers and arrows painted on buildings. As they continued traveling, they found the same markings on trees, rocks, and other structures. Curious, they followed them for a long time, hoping they would lead somewhere important, but the arrows never seemed to go anywhere. Eventually, Heather and Rafe decided to camp on top of a mountain for a few days. One night, they heard a strange noise coming from the woods. Soon, a mysterious man appeared among the trees. Heather tried to follow him, but he disappeared before she could catch him. Later, when they returned to their campsite, the stranger suddenly attacked. He grabbed Rafe from behind. Rafe fought back, but the attacker stabbed him with a knife. Without hesitation, Heather threw an axe at the man and killed him. Rafe was badly wounded. Heather stayed with him as he said his final goodbye before dying in her arms. Afterward, her vehicle broke down, forcing her to make the long journey home on foot. Hearing this story affects everyone. Jean, who has struggled with alcohol in the past, begins drinking again. Meanwhile, Joey's condition continues getting worse. When Ish returns from checking on the others, desperation starts taking over. Since he survived the original virus and may have natural immunity, he comes up with a risky idea. He plans to perform a blood transfusion and give Joey some of his blood, hoping it might save his life. Heather quickly stops him. She tells him not to make dangerous decisions out of fear. Then she reminds him that Molly has been working on another possible treatment. Heather explains that Molly has created a new medicine using parts of a yew tree and believes it may help the sick patients. For the first time in days, Ish finally has a reason to hope that Joey might survive. Ish quickly carries Joey to Molly, hoping she can save him. Molly explains that the medicine she created might work, but it will take a few days before they know for sure. Since Joey's fever is extremely high, Ish tries everything he can think of, even giving him an ice-cold bath to bring his temperature down. Over the next few days, most of the sick people begin recovering. Molly explains that the disease is actually a weaker version of the same virus that destroyed the world years ago. At the same time, Corey asks Heather for a detailed description of the man who killed Rafe. After hearing the story, he realizes something shocking. The attacker was Silas. Now Corey faces a difficult choice. He must decide whether to tell everyone the truth or keep it a secret. Sadly, while everyone else starts getting better, Joey does not improve. His condition keeps getting worse. Eventually, Joey realizes that he is dying. He says a final goodbye to his parents and peacefully passes away in his bed. The loss completely destroys Ish. Unable to handle the pain, he jumps into his vehicle and speeds away from the house, ignoring everyone who tries to stop him. His grief quickly turns into anger. While driving, he finds the old sign that Emma painted many years ago to attract survivors. In a moment of rage, he covers it up. Then he heads to the library. Surrounded by the books he once loved so much, Ish completely loses control. He starts throwing books around, knocking shelves over, and destroying everything he can reach. Back at the house, the family buries Joey alongside several other people who also died from the virus. They hold a small funeral and say their final goodbyes. Later, Emma finds Ish sitting alone in the library. He is holding a match and looks ready to burn the entire place down. Emma reminds him that the old world was already gone long before Joey died. She tells him that he still has family, friends, and people who need him. Slowly, her words reach him. Ish returns home, but he still feels lost. He no longer knows how to move forward without his son. A few days later, he goes for a long walk by himself. During the hike, he reaches a high point and watches a sunrise sunrise spread across the landscape. The sight reminds him that life continues. When he gets home, he gathers the younger generation together. For years, he has spent his time teaching them about the old world, its knowledge and its ways. But now he realizes something important. The world they live in is completely different. Ish tells them that he has been wrong. They do not need him to teach them everything anymore. The earth itself is now their teacher, and they must learn from the world around them instead of trying to recreate the past. A year passes. One day, Ish finally finds the strength to enter Joey's room again. As he sorts through his son's belongings, he discovers Joey's diary. Inside, he learns that Joey had dreams of finding more survivors. Even though Ish never believed it was possible, Joey never gave up hope. The diary also contains plans for a radio system with its own antenna. Reading his son's ideas inspires Ish. Wanting to honor Joey's memory, he gathers everyone together and announces a new project. They are going to build Joey's radio. The entire community works together. After weeks of effort, the radio is finally completed and a large antenna is installed on top of the house. When they switch it on, the radio works perfectly. But there is one problem. Nobody answers. Even so, Ish refuses to give up. Day after day, he sits beside the radio trying every frequency he can find, hoping that someone will hear them. One afternoon, Emma convinces him to take a break. Outside, the others are playing a homemade baseball game using random objects they found around the house. For a while, everyone enjoys themselves. During the game, Heather becomes curious about something. She asks why baseball uses so many numbers and statistics. Ish explains that people in the old world loved measuring and ranking everything. They used numbers for almost everything they did. Suddenly, Heather remembers the strange numbers and arrows she saw during her journey with Rafe years ago. At that moment, Ish realizes something. Those numbers might not have been directions at all. They might have been radio frequencies. Excited, everyone rushes back to the radio and enters the numbers Heather remembers. For several minutes, nothing happens. Then, finally, a voice answers. The group can hardly believe it. They learn that another community of survivors exists less than 100 miles away. The settlement lives in what used to be a state park and has grown to 77 people. For the first time in decades, they know they are not alone. After discussing it together, Ish and his family invite the other survivors to join them and build a larger future together. The story then jumps ahead 50 years after the pandemic began. Ish is now an old man. He passes his treasured hammer to Heather's oldest son. Before doing so, he shares one final lesson. He tells the boy that people come and go. Generations rise and fall. Human lives are temporary, but the earth remains. And with those words, Ish leaves behind the wisdom that guided him through an entire lifetime in a world rebuilt from the ashes of the old one. And with this scene, the story comes to an end.